name is Faith Kamau, and I'm 45 years of age. I have a sister that lives here, so I came on holiday to visit her. And then I used to do a lot of sports, and I used to jog. My husband he used to run a lot. And then I used to keep jogging. So he met me, and one day, because he knew my sister would say hello, and he told me one day that if I want, we can go run together. Oh, I said yeah, because then I remember my niece telling me, "You're saying you'll go and run with him? Do you know how many kilometers he runs?" But I didn't have his number or anything. I couldn't cancel. So, but then that's how I met then Freddie. And then he came, picked me up. We went to Bokrek. I put my tracksuits on and we running. I was just used to running 3 kilometers. He used to run 10. And then that time, because I had my tracksuit, I'd removed I was only with the t-shirt. It was cold there because it's in nature. But I thought I will not give up. I will not disgrace myself. I ran. I was tired. But then he would come pick me up. We go again running. And when my time reached for going back to Kenya, I was here for 1 month. I went back. But I remember people asking me to stay. I said no. No, but even I didn't have that mentality, or like I never thought I wanted to marry a white man, or I wasn't looking for anybody. And I remember going back, and that time there's no so much telephone, WhatsApp, it was emails. And he would keep in touch, and then he came to Kenya to visit. After I wanted to see if he really loves me, come get me from Kenya, not here. He came after like 6 months. He came, he made my papers, and then I came back, and that's how I came to live in Belgium. I got married. It's quite complicated. My husband and I have an age difference, a huge age difference. With his age, he didn't want to have a child at that time because he felt like he will not be there for a child at maybe for 10 years. His words, not mine. And I wanted to really, really have a child. And so it was, we've been married for almost 16 years. And then it became very complicated. So I told my husband, I really want to have a child. He says it's not possible. And then we had to talk about divorce, and then I had to look for another option. And in the process, I met a wonderful guy from America, and then we became friends. And then he also really wanted to have a son. He desired, but he travels too much, but he always wanted to have a male child because he believes that's how his name will go on. And we would talk and we had the similarities. And one day he said, okay, let's make a child. But I thought, because everybody was telling me at 40s, at your 40s, you're too old, it's too late. And I went to the gynecologist here for checkup. In fact, my husband took me. No, I went with Freddie. I always call him my husband because he's my husband, but we are divorced. But he took me there. He made for me the appointment because he saw I was disturbing him. For years, I'd been telling him about the kid. But when I reached 40, I thought now the biological clock is going, I'll go into my menopause soon. So I thought now it's the moment. And he thought, okay, he made the appointment, drove me there. But I went to the office alone to the gynecologist. And she says, no, you're too old. It's not possible, it can't happen. She gave me the worst case scenario. I just went for a checkup for her to check if everything was okay. She left me so heartbroken, she told me. So she even told me, gave me options, you have to go for fertility. I told her, I just came for a checkup. I remember coming out of there and I was really crying. I was crying, and I entered the car, I told my husband what he said, and my husband was really laughing because he in his head thought I'm also too old, and he thought, let me just pass through the phase and then I'll get over it. And then I thought, no, but these people are not God. And then I called my niece. I say, you know what the gynecologist told me? She says, leave that gynecologist. They are not God. But then in the process, I was already actually pregnant. When the gynecologist was telling me, I was like, I think a week or two pregnant. But then all this time, we were already talking about divorce, but we were still friends and we would talk, and I was living with him, but we were separated, for lack of better words. And I even told him when I met my son's father, I told him, Freddie, I met somebody, he's an American, but he'd always laugh. He thought I'm just going through maybe a midlife crisis, or I'm just being through like a teenager. I don't know, I'm not in his mind, but he thought that. But I would always inform him, it's not like, and then we would go on, and then I remember the time I started becoming sick. I was vomiting. One day I was driving and I was going to work, and in the middle I was praying, let it be red light so that I could not vomit in my car. And then I stopped in the middle of the road and I vomited and went back to work. So I thought maybe I'm now really pregnant. And then I bought a pregnancy test, and I did, and I saw it was positive. But I was still here and with Freddie, and and then I had to tell him, I said, Freddie, I'm pregnant. It was really hard. And his look was so disappointing, so sad, that now it's really happening. The face is really an actual thing. And I remember he looked at me and he was just different. We would laugh and talk, and he didn't say anything. He became really red. And then after 2 days, when I was feeling sick and I would go and vomit, he would say, Faith, are you okay? What can I do? But I didn't want to stress him. I was just giving him time. And then with time, he just started to take care of me, and then Corona hit, the Corona period. So we went to lockdown. But then he now was thinking of moving out, looking for an apartment. And I was considering moving to America, because my family is there and the father of my son is there. I thought, okay, I'm going to relocate to start a new beginning instead of, here a lot of bad blood. I didn't want to have cause anybody any pain. But then when in the process of the lockdown, I was looking for a house, and Freddie says, Faith, why don't you just stay here and we make one of the rooms there your child's room? But I thought he was joking, and he immediately, when I told him I was pregnant, he immediately sent an SMS to his son and told him, hey, Faith is pregnant. Because his son had asked me, Faith, why do you want to leave my dad? Before, because his dad told him, he says, Faith, you guys have been together. So I told him, Yorick, I'll tell you the truth. I really love your dad, but it's because of the child. It's very complicated. It was a complicated situation, and Yorick understood where I was coming from. And then, so Freddie told him I was pregnant. He sent me congratulations, and then the rest became history. Then I would go to the clinic. Freddie would take me to but he was not allowed to enter. And then the process, I decided to live here. And from then I'm a single mom. That's how I became a single mom. Does that make any sense? It's a dream come true. Something that I used to pray to God, and I would never understand why I didn't have a kid. I would have a fear of just one day being alone. You can have a partner, true. But at the end of your time, if you don't have a child, there are people who don't want to have children. That's okay. But if you like, I felt like something was missing. Yeah, from my mom, my family back in, not my siblings, my mom. My aunties thought maybe I'm barren. And my mom would constantly worry and ask me. In fact, my mom, she would be telling me, Faith, because she reached a point she thought this one is because of her husband, and so she doesn't have. She said, this one, in fact, this is wrong. How can somebody be with you and not give you a child? You should go. And I would always cover up. And should be, saying, no, no, this is not right. You have to have a child. And I would constantly ignore, but it was bothering my mom a lot. She couldn't understand why I didn't have a child. And I love children, and I've always loved children. Something that I truly, and I would stay with my ex-husband's grandchildren, because I know them from when they were babies. I would feel that when I love them, I would feel that emptiness, that feel like, because they go away. When somebody's children, they go away, but yours stays with you. And they love you unconditionally. It's such an amazing feeling. My husband helped me a lot with Val, like take him to the crash, put him to bed when I'm working, but still in my mind, because Val is 100% dependent on me, I feel like I'm a single mother, because it's 100% my responsibility. My ex-husband is helping because he wants to, but if it's the father, for example, he has to. That's what I feel. So that makes me a single mother, because Val totally depends on me for everything, and I have to make sure that he has everything that he needs. The most difficult thing, you constantly worry about finance. I constantly worry about finance. I worry, is my son going to be okay? Do I have everything? I see, I deny myself my stuff, and always for him. Even if I'm overdoing it, but I just feel it's a constant worry, because I want him to have and never lack. I don't want him to feel like, because I'm single-handedly raising him, that he's less than the ones who have papa and mama. So that's one challenge. You worry a lot about finance. Is he okay? And for me, I have because he's a boy, sometimes, when his first haircut, I took him there to the barber shop, and he was screaming. And I thought, okay, even if he screams, he just still has to get his haircut. But it's painful for me, and I think I would prefer a dad to do that, because he can handle that situation more. And my son, and it was horrible. And Freddie was there and said, you have to stop. You have to say he has to go through the process. So you see, some things, as much as a woman, also a single mothers do it, but I think there are some things that are better done by the father or the other parent. You need that, or sometimes I need to, I'm overworking, I have too many hours, but you need a partner to help you with, there are other responsibility to take care of him. And for me, I want him to be circumcised. That's another challenge as a single mother. It's a nightmare for me just to think I have to take him personally. If he's screaming, I might start screaming, but I want him to grow up to be a man. So if I start screaming, he'll think it's very okay to scream. There's some challenges that, as a mother, that I don't know how to handle them as a woman. It's very important. I find it so important for a father to be there for their children regardless, because you shape their lives, and there are so many important things. So it's not only the financial, but the physical impact of a father interacting with their child every day. We need the fathers to step up and become fathers, an everyday father. I feel it's important, very important, because I grew up with a dad and mom, and I had an influence from my dad and from my mom, and I learned from both of them different things. For my mom, I learned how to be a woman, how to cook and stuff, and the discipline. And from my dad, he taught me responsibility, how to as a woman, still you have to not get everything from a man, that you can also work and get, that you can have self-respect, that my dad believed in equality, not equality, okay, A man is always the head, of course, but he believed that his girls were also so important because, and he wanted us to have that you should know your worth. And we need that for the fathers to teach their children that, because these generations to come, the men need to be also to step up to their plate. Regardless of what you feel about the father of your child, don't interfere in that relationship. Don't come between or put any hate, because it's important to have the door open for the child to relate with their father, because it's not about you and the partner, it's about you, the child and the father. Because as a single mother raising a son, it's very important to have the impact of a man in your child's life. The father teaches him things that you can teach. I think it's important. And then I just think, just do your thing, hang in there. It gets better, it is enjoyable, but it's hard, it's challenging. First, the father of my son he's very hardworking. He's a software engineer, so he's rarely in one place at one time. He can be mostly he used to be in Europe, in England, for 3 weeks or for 1 month, and back to America just for 12 days or 10 days for a full month. And then he's always traveling because he's doing some work. And I reason like this: if you move to another country, start all over again, you'll be alone all the time. And I'm not having any negative thoughts about America, but based on what I've seen about America with a black child or a human being, I prefer raising a child here at their tender age, because of the hospital. It's easier, and even it's free until 12 years. You can afford it. And like now you have a gynecologist, they follow you through, and when you give birth, there's a nurse that comes to take care of you. I was considering all these things, and then because I've worked most of my life, I like to work and earn a living, at least, even if I'm bringing in, let's say, €1 and somebody's bringing in lots of other money, but I have an income. With my baby's father to be together at the moment for many reasons, because I don't want to move from this country to another. I don't want to go and just be a single mother, a home stay-at-home mom. And I have a lot of dreams and ambitions that I still have to accomplish in my lifetime. And I just didn't feel like I wanted to just go and just stay and do nothing. Yeah. My mom has practically forgotten me. She only thinks about Val, and she says it's her youngest grandchild, and she loves him. She is so grateful. And we all call him the miracle baby. So she says, my miracle grandson. And then she says he's a miracle, and she's really happy. It's worth it. He really loves him. He calls him Grandpa, Opa. They love each other, because now if he goes to get him in the crash and I'm there, he'll look at me and run to his grandfather. He always there together. They go with the bicycle, they go to the neighborhood, they eat some things that I don't eat, like ice cream, because his grandfather always says yes. And I'm the one who says no. So I'm less of a favorite, and Fred is more of a favorite. So they relate very well. Actually, you'd be surprised. I've done a lot of things. I've traveled, but Val, he's the one that fulfills my, of course, God first, but he makes me feel like I've had it all. There's nothing else that really at this moment interests me that much, because I'm happy. And many people will tell me, because I'm, of course, as a single mother, like now, I have to come home, I clean, I cook after working 8 hours or sometimes 9 hours, and then I put him to bed, feed him, play with him. Then you really don't have time. But people say, Faith, being with a child, you lose your independence, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. I like it. I enjoy it. I think I was born to be a mother.